Good evening. I'm Alicia Malone, and tonight's lineup on TCM is dedicated to June Lockhart, who passed away in October of last year at the grand age of 100. She was an actress whose film credits began in 1940 and who later became known for her roles in the television series Lost in Space and Lassie. Our next film introduced June Lockhart to the lovable rough collie for the first time. From 1945, directed by S. Sylvan Simon, it's Son of Lassie. This was the sequel to the MGM hit Lassie Come Home from 1943, which had kicked off the Lassie craze. It also gave young Elizabeth Taylor a prominent role, and for the sequel, June Lockhart took over to play the grown-up version of Taylor's character. She is Priscilla, the granddaughter of a duke whose grounds are being used to train war dogs for the British Army. The story is set in England during World War II, and Peter Lawford plays Joe, a Royal Air Force cadet who finds himself with a sidekick, Lassie's son, Laddie. June Lockhart was born in Manhattan on June 25, 1925, and she began acting when she was young, first appearing on stage at the Metropolitan Opera at age 8. It was perhaps unsurprising that she chose this career since her parents, Jean and Kathleen Lockhart, were actors. June's uncredited film debut came in one of her parents' films. At the age of 13, she appeared in the 1938 version of A Christmas Carol. From there, her parents helped her choose which projects she would take on, which meant that her early years in film acting included roles in classics like Sergeant York, The White Cliffs of Dover, and Meet Me in St. Louis. From 1945, with Donald Crisp and Nigel Bruce, let's watch June Lockhart in Son of Lassie. Son of Lassie brought us the adventures of Laddie, the son of the rough collie from the first film, Lassie Come Home, released in 1943. A few years later, the third film, Courage of Lassie, was released in 1946, and there were many more movies after that, plus the very popular television show that lasted for nearly 20 years, making its debut in 1954. In 1958, June Lockhart joined the hit TV series, replacing Cloris Leachman as Ruth Martin at the start of its 5th season. Lockhart remained on the series for 6 years, leaving in 1964. Then, just a year later, she joined another hit show, playing Maureen Robinson in Lost in Space for 4 years. Later, Lockhart also had recurring roles in Petticoat Junction and General Hospital. Because many of her characters, especially those on television, were compassionate mothers, Lockhart gained a fan base of viewers who grew up watching her and continued to follow her career. Off-screen, Lockhart insisted she was very different, saying, "I love rock and roll and going to concerts. I have driven army tanks and flown in hot air balloons, and I go plane gliding, the ones with no motors. I do a lot of things that don't go with my image." After the break on TCM, we'll continue our memorial of June Lockhart by watching a gothic horror film from 1946 that we have never shown on the channel before. You're in for a treat, so stay watching.
Next on TCM, She-Wolf of London, then Time Limit, and later, Meet Me in St. Louis. We swoon for June Lockhart tonight.